This is the newsroom.
This is your newsroom for today, Thursday, July 3rd, 2025. We are broadcasting to you on E1, SKAR TV, NTN, and TARZEE TV in Bartica. In the headlines, President Ali dissolves Parliament and RDCs, clearing the way for September 1st elections and urging citizens to help shape Guyana's future. Jagdeo dismisses rumours, confirms Brigadier retired Mark Phillips will return as Prime Ministerial candidate for the PPPC.
Mark is an asset to this party. Mark brings great credibility to our list and to our ticket.
Government surpasses 50,000 house lot target with low-income families and single women among the biggest beneficiaries. Christchurch Secondary rises from the ashes as President Ali and Minister Manickchand recommission rebuilt school. And sport, global Super League and CPL unveil limited-time bundle ticket promotion and draft system being used to strengthen teams in revamped Women's Division 1 League. With the news, I am Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for joining us. We start off by telling you that President Irfaan Ali has officially dissolved Guyana's 12th Parliament and all regional democratic councils, paving the way for general and regional elections set for September 1st, 2025. The move was made official on Thursday when the head of state signed 2 proclamations at State House, fulfilling his constitutional powers under the Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. The president also used Thursday's address to call on every eligible voter to play his or her part in shaping the nation's future.
Fellow Guyanese, in accordance with Article 72 of the Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, I have signed this afternoon Proclamation Number 1 of 2025, dissolving the 12th Parliament of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. Similarly, in accordance with Article 73(2) of the Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, I have also signed a proclamation dissolving the regional democratic councils. The proclamations also designate the 1st September 2025 as the date on which general and regional elections shall be held in the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. Free and fair elections are the lifeblood of a democratic state. The upcoming elections represents our country's commitment to renewing the democratic covenant between its citizens and government. Elections provide the opportunity for citizens to exercise their democratic right to elect their president and representatives of the National Assembly. I urge all eligible Guyanese to participate in the upcoming elections, and in so doing be part of this critical decision-making process of the state. The task of administering the forthcoming elections rests with the Guyana Elections Commission, and I remain confident in its ability to hold free, fair, and credible elections. I urge all Guyanese to support the work of GCOM. These are the 2 proclamations dissolving Parliament and the regional democratic councils. Thank you.
Now, General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party Civic, Dr. Jagdeo, on Thursday dismissed rumours that Brigadier retired Mark Phillips will not return as the party's Prime Ministerial candidate. He spoke at the party's press conference on Thursday.
As we get closer to elections, the rumors they would spread like this one, this stupid thing that we were replacing Mark Phillips now as the Prime Ministerial candidate because we're worried about losing the elections. Mark is an asset to this party. Mark brings great credibility to our list and to our ticket. He combined with President Ali, they have experience and the skill to lead this country compared to anyone else. So I just want people not to be misled by these rumors, particularly a couple of people who contacted me from the party. Oh, by now you should know that these are news sites that will say anything.
We tell you now that the government has surpassed its promise of distributing 50,000 house lots since 2020. Some 90% of the allottees were low-income families. Another major group to benefit were single women. The minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water, Susan Rodriguez, made this disclosure on Tuesday at the launch of the 2025 Building Expo.
Our housing sector has aimed to empower Guyanese through home ownership. We have accomplished the target that we set ourselves for these 5 years of distributing 50,000 house lots and thousands of homes to ordinary Guyanese, especially women, single women who have been the beneficiary of 47% of our entire allocations. 54% of all of the allocations made have been allocated to young people between the ages of 21 and 35. And 90% of those 50,000 lots went to low-income families. This is the legacy of the housing sector under President Irfan Ali. We have stayed true and faithful to the objectives of the housing sector of empowering our people.
Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Anil Nandlal has sounded a warning to newly appointed Justices of Peace and Commissioners of Oaths to Affidavits, whom he say are misusing their appointments for personal gain. He, speaking during a recent program on Tuesday, Nandlal revealed that several complaints have reached his office about some appointees overstepping their remit and exploiting community members.
It was specifically made clear that these appointments were not intended to make them commercial operators. That is to say, to offer these services at exorbitant prices. For those reasons, each appointment was confined to the region in which the person is residing, and they are not to operate outside of those regions. It was also pointed out that training sessions will be held, and a copy of the legislation was made available, the relevant legislation, to the new appointees, or at least they were pointed in the direction of where they can access the new legislation. We have received multiple complaints that persons whom were recently appointed are abusing these appointments, that they are doing things that this appointment doesn't qualify them to do, that they are charging exorbitant prices and fees and monies for rendering the service that they are rendering, that they have erected signboards at their homes, and some of them have open offices, and they list the type of services that they are now offering. I am asking kindly to all those persons who were appointed to desist from doing the things that I have just outlined. You are not attorneys at law, and the appointment that you have received as a justice of peace or commissioner of oath to affidavit, neither of those appointments nor the combination of the two qualify you to perform any legal service or services.
The Christchurch Secondary School, which was gutted by fire more than a year ago, has now risen from the ashes, rebuilt and officially commissioned on Thursday by President Irfaan Ali and the Education Minister Prime Manickchand. The commissioning ceremony took place at the school's Camp and Middle Street location in Georgetown, marking a new chapter for students, teachers and the wider community.
So just 2.5 years ago, this very institution, Christchurch Secondary School, was a victim of a vicious act, maliciously set on fire. A cruel hand was dealt to the school, its students and its staff. In a matter of hours, decades of memories, tradition, and dreams were reduced to ashes. The blaze disrupted not only a physical structure, but the academic path of hundreds of students. It fractured routine, halted progress, and cast uncertainty over the future of a cherished educational community. But today, with hearts full of pride and eyes lifted toward promise, we declare without hesitation and without apology, Christchurch is back and back in business. The business of education, empowerment, and enlightenment.
The president said, we have to build back Christchurch. We have to build back the schools that are down, and we have to build schools all over the hinterland. So let's get some designs that are beautiful, easy, prefab. I want these schools up as quickly as possible. That was President Ali's leadership of your children. That's why I say sometimes you see the economist, you see the man who could answer numbers, you see the person who could go to the UN and defend. You don't see the person who sits down and says, what are we doing to make sure every single child gets a high school education and a solid high school education?
When the newsroom returns, Region 2 gets modern boost to justice system with $178 million and Regina Magistrates Court, and SASUD renews push to amend discrimination law and secure explicit workplace protections for queer Guyanese ahead of upcoming elections. Stay tuned. Welcome back. This is the newsroom. Residents of Region 2 Pomeroon Supernam can now benefit from swifter and more accessible justice with the commissioning of a brand new state-of-the-art magistrates court at Anna Regina, Essequibo Coast. The $178.2 million facility, constructed by Satar Mohammed and Sun Construction and Hardware Supplies, promises to transform how justice is delivered in the region. The official opening on Wednesday saw the Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, Anil Nandlal, joining members of the judiciary to unveil a new facility. Speaking at the event, Nandlal underscored the vital role of justice in society.
Access to justice is as important as any other right or any other entitlement of the human being. Without justice, without law, without order, nothing is possible. It is the rule of law that keeps us in a civilized society. The construction of this new and modern edifice to house the Anna Regina Magistrate Court is not only a tangible expression of the government's commitment to ensure access to justice reaches every crease and crevice of our country, but is also a vital component of the government's broader infrastructural development agenda designed to cradle the rapid, unprecedented economic and social transformation currently unfolding. The government recognizes that building out necessary physical infrastructure is an essential prerequisite to support, sustain, and safeguard the exponential economic growth and associated externalities. Without the adequate infrastructure, we cannot harness the true potential and reap maximum benefits of our resources. Importantly, however, is that our investment in justice is not confined to bricks and mortar. We have also seen the implementation of the latest technological advancements, such as digitized case management systems, e-filing, remote hearings, and courtroom technologies, and also the filling of critical posts to complement the infrastructural development.
It is the reaffirmation of our commitment to justice, to accessibility, and to the enduring principles of fairness and the rule of law. In the not so distant past, and when I say that I mean like an hour and a half ago, residents from Queenstown to Dartmouth have had to travel a further distance to the Surrey Magistrates Court for their matters to be heard. And before that, matters were heard upstairs of the former Anna Regina Police Station. This new court represents a step forward, bringing justice closer to the people it serves. It stands not only as a place of judgment, but as a beacon of trust and transparency within the community. A magistrate's court is often the first and most frequent point of contact between the public and the justice system. Here, cases are heard that touch the daily lives of our citizens, whether they concern civil disputes, family matters, or criminal offenses. As such, the quality of justice delivered here must reflect the highest standards of impartiality, efficiency, and humanity.
Vice President Dr. Jagdeo on Thursday confirmed that no new taxes were introduced since the People's Progressive Party Civic took office in 2020. Jagdeo is the PPP's General Secretary. He spoke at a party's press conference on Thursday.
So in every sector, no one was spared. From the guy driving his donkey cart, his fee went up, to the health sector. Remember the education sector, the minors, they increased the royalty rate, the taxes on machinery and equipment, land rental charges, everything under the sun you could think about. Every single thing on hinterland travel, reopen at Marijuana, I think, and Port Kaituma, the GRA, pressuring people, are collecting $94 billion more per year. So we said we're going to reverse those when we get into office. We've reversed the taxes that they put. That cost us about $50 billion, the reversal of all that they were promising, or they implemented. So we kept that promise of reversing the taxes. We haven't increased a single tax. We have not increased a single tax. You check the budget. I confirmed that again with Ashley today.
In an emotionally charged hall in Abuja last Friday, Professor Benedict Orama, the president and chairman of the board of directors of the Afri-Exim Bank, received a thunderous standing ovation as he delivered his final report card. The outgoing president used his final annual meetings address at the Transcorp Hilton to celebrate promises kept, not least to the Caribbean. Orama confirmed that this week, a 13th CARICOM country will formally join the bank, cementing its deepening Caribbean push.
The area of political and business leaders who have joined us from the Caribbean speak volumes regarding the progress we have made with our outreach to our friends, brothers, and sisters in the CARICOM. Over the past 4 years, we have significantly advanced commercial and cultural linkages within global Africa. Our successful outreach within Caribbean has led to 12 CARICOM states becoming partner members of the bank, with the 13th scheduled to join next week. The establishment of the Afri-Exim Bank Caribbean office in Bridgetown, Barbados, and the subsequent groundbreaking for the construction of the bank's Africa Trade Center in the region have all taken place in this short period. Other notable achievements include the establishment of the Africa-Caribbean Business Council and the launch of the Afri-Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum in 2023, with this year's edition scheduled to take place in St. George's, Grenada, from July 28 to 29, 2025. You're also all invited to join us there. On the business front, the bank has also approved and disbursed millions of US dollars and billions of US dollars, and also disbursed millions of them to the Bahamas, Barbados, Grenada, Guyana, St. Lucia. And in Suriname, our President Bank is coordinator and a mandated lead arranger of a syndicated $1.6 billion facility to the state oil company Statsoli for their acquisition of a significant participation in the major oil discovery made there by Total SA. In Guyana, the bank is working with the authorities to implement a $1 billion local content support facility to boost the domestic impact of the significant oil discoveries in that country. Afri-Exim Bank is also working with the Caribbean Development Fund, the first CARICOM shareholders of the bank, to introduce a resilience and sustainability facility for the CARICOM. I must at this juncture recognize and thank the strong contingent of political and business leaders attending this event from the CARICOM. I thank you, the Prime Ministers and all the business leaders, the President of the Caribbean Development Bank and the Caribbean Development Fund, all of you who are here. Thank you very much.
The Society Against Sexual Orientation Discrimination, commonly referred to as SASOD, continues to advocate for an amendment of the Prevention of Discrimination Act to protect queer persons from workplace discrimination explicitly. Currently, the Act prohibits discrimination in the workplace based on race, sex, religion, color, ethnic origin, indigenous population, national extraction, social origin, economic status, political opinion, disability, family responsibilities, pregnancy, marital status, or age. SASOD has, however, been advocating for the prohibition of discrimination based on an individual's sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression, and sex characteristics. With elections on the horizon, the group is holding steadfast to its advocacy.
I think it's very important that we have some form of protection from discrimination for LGBTQIA people. And the Prevention of Discrimination Act 1997 is one of the very few pieces of legislation that is preventative in nature. It deals with a specific right, and that's the right to work. But we don't have broad, comprehensive anti-discrimination legislation that deals with all our rights in Guyana. In lieu of asking for, at least not at this stage, asking for broad anti-discrimination legislation to be drafted to protect discrimination on all grounds in relation to all rights, we see it's important to expand the protection that we have right now to apply to LGBTQIA people. And there was a specific reason for that. Outside of violence, our data that we collected, or reports that we were collecting about human rights violations affecting LGBTQ people, were showing that over 30% of the reports were related to issues around workplace discrimination and issues related to the right to work. So we were seeing that this is a prominent issue affecting our communities, and we thought this is important based on the lived experiences of people to champion this cause.
When the newsroom returns, the financial weather and bridge reports along with sport. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Newsroom. Now for a look at what's happening in sport. We're starting us off with some squash news. Guyanese Luis De Silva and Avery Arjun battled back from triple match point down to clinch a stunning mixed doubles gold medal at the Junior Caribbean Area Squash Association Championship in the Cayman Islands. De Silva and Arjun showcased their resilience and skill in a captivating final against the Barbadian pair Luke Wilson and Ebony Atali. The Guyanese triumphed 11-8, 8-11, 11-10 on Wednesday evening. This gold medal marks a second triumph for De Silva and Arjun, who each secured individual gold medals earlier in the week on Tuesday. Guyana also celebrated further success in the doubles categories, with Shiloh Asragado and Justin Tenpau claiming bronze in the boys' doubles, and Kaylee Lowe and Emily Fungafat securing the same honors in the girls' doubles. With the individual and doubles events concluded, the focus now shifts to the team championship. And the Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League and the ExxonMobil Guyana Global Super League are thrilled to announce a limited-time bundle ticket promotion, bringing the best of regional and international cricket action to spectators at unbeatable value. From now until Tuesday, July 8th, fans who purchase DSL tickets will unlock the exclusive opportunity to purchase CPL tickets in the same quantity in the same stand, up to 10 tickets per match. This special offer is designed to reward loyal cricket supporters and ensure that the Guyana Amazon Warriors fans are out in force at the Caribbean's premier cricket leagues. 1 week out from the start of the Global Super League, Director Jamie Stewart is encouraging fans to take advantage of the limited-time bundle ticket promotion.
We're a week away from the Cricket Super Party. Thought it was time to announce some of the exciting news we've got. The teams are arriving, coming in over the weekend, and the party's about to begin. We've got a very special promotion that the Guyana Amazon Warriors have graciously made available to Warriors fans, that if you buy your GSL tickets this week, you will have the opportunity to get the same amount of CPL, Warriors CPL tickets. So we're doing a GSL CPL bundle. You get both your cricket events back to back, huge excitement, and we urge you to come out and avail of that opportunity. The ticket supply is limited, so it's a great opportunity to secure your Warriors CPL tickets now. Also have access to the Global Super League, where we have the world's best teams coming to take on the Warriors, and some at halftime of each evening match.
And of course, today is a special day for the former West Indies captain Craig Brathwaite, coach and mentor Roddy Estwick, and Cricket West Indies president Dr. Kishore Shallow on Thursday morning presented Brathwaite with a special 100th Test cap and trophy to mark his milestone in Grenada. Brathwaite is the 10th West Indian to play 100 Test matches, following in the footsteps of Shivnarine Chanderpaul, 164, Courtney Walsh, 132, Brian Lara, 130, Viv Richards, 121, Desmond Haynes, 116, Clive Lloyd, 110, Gordon Greenidge, 108, Chris Gale, 103, and Carl Hooper, 102.
Craig, 17 years ago, you told me that you wanted to play a 100 Test match for the West Indies. You've been true to your word, you've been disciplined, you've been dedicated. You've now joined 10 people who played 100 Test matches. You've got another target. You can be another 10 who've made 6,000 Test runs. All the best and good luck. Enjoy.
Now, England's top order was blown away after Shubman Gill's mammoth 269 for India to leave the host, requiring their most unlikely turnaround yet on the captain Ben Stokes after 2 days of the second test at Edgbaston. Gill's epic innings helped India pile up 587, and after 5 sessions in the field, Ben Duckett, Ollie Pope and Zach Crawley all fell to leave England 77 for 3 at the close. Duckett and Pope, England's centurions from their comeback and win in the first test, were caught in the slips of consecutive deliveries in Seema Akashdeep's second over. Crawley wafted at Mohammad Siraj to offer another edge on 19 as India, who faced huge questions coming into this test match, took total control. Harry Brook was skittish in making 30 not out. He finished alongside Joe Root, who has 18, and could easily have deepened England's woes. Gill had earlier effortlessly compiled the highest score by an Indian batsman in England and the highest score by an Indian skipper anywhere in the world. After resuming on 114, Gill extended his partnership with Ravindra Jadeja to 203 to steer India away from early danger, and when Jadeja fell for 89, he put on 144 with Washington Sundar to drive home the advantage. Football news now. In a bid to improve the competitiveness between teams in the revamped Women's Division 1 League, the Guyana Football Federation, the GFF, will implement a draft system. According to Technical Director Brian Joseph, the league will be played 9 versus 9, and the hope is that since all the elite teams are mandated to field teams as part of club license requirements, more players will be exposed to build the national pool. The league, which kicks off on Friday, August 1st, will run for approximately 4 months in a single-round league.
Ideally, when we conceptualized this, we wanted each of the elite clubs to have approximately 5 to 7 players, female players, that are already part of their club. And the draft was going to allow them to probably get 8 or 9 players, depending again on the number of persons in the draft. Because the structure of the draft will obviously allow clubs to first, let me backtrack here a bit. So Guyana Police Force and Guyana Defense Force are not going to be in the draft. Their rosters are large enough, so they would not be in the draft. They have already agreed with us that they will select their team, and all the other players will be allowed to enter the draft. So from those two clubs, from police, yes, from police and GDF, right? The others will be allowed to enter the draft along with every other female player in the country. So we expect that each of the elite clubs will have about 5 or 6 players that already are indigenous to their club. And then with the draft, then they're able to draft 8 or 9 players, right? So by the end of the league, we anticipate this activity, the tournament, what happens at the club, will encourage players that are indigenous to the respective community from where the club comes, will now want to be a part of the program. And this will enable each of the clubs now to start their own female program.
And with that, we've come to the end of the news for this evening. Of course, you can find updates on these and other stories on our website, newsroom.gy, and all social media platforms. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for watching. Be safe. See you next time.